Oh, dude, I'll get one here during the show. Yeah, I'm gonna drink my beer and then probably another beer. I'm gonna get a little sauced. All right, go ahead. Like last time.
Yes, your mic's
Go
up.
ahead. That's fine. I don't care.
We're doing your intro now.
Let it rip. I'm gonna get a little sauced. All right, go ahead. What is happening, guys? Another episode of Cold Beer and Whitetails. Got my boy Zach Olson on. Cheers, bro. This my boy Zach from work. We work up at Shields together, and we both are Matthews brothers. We found out recently we both drink the Matthews Kool-Aid. Um, no, but yeah, Zach's from Fargo. He just moved here to Oklahoma. He's big deer hunter up there. Know you killed a lot of good bucks with gun. You got a good bow. And the you shoot the VXR.
The VXR, yep.
Yeah, 28 axle.
Yep.
We got a video of you popping balloons up at the farm at 80 yards the other day.
60, but yeah, I did
No,
one at
you
80.
popped one at 80.
I popped one at 80,
Yeah.
but you didn't get a video of it. Wasn't special enough.
Yeah, no, that's right. You did pop one at 80.
Yeah.
Totally should have filmed that one. That would have been way better than that. And your 60-yard one got a lot of traction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, dude. Welcome to Oklahoma. I always give Zach shit about his accent and down in Fargo in North Dakota.
Up in Fargo.
Yeah, sorry, up in Fargo. No, man, you know it's all good love. But dude,
Yes,
he's down here in the South now. We'll be chasing deer here in Oklahoma. Trying to get him on the saddle set up. Right now he hunts out of a lock on and what, a climber or just a lock on?
Climber.
Got you.
Yeah, I do the climber.
And Cody Skank just said, check Yankee and get sauce, brother.
You know who that is? Hey, Cody. Thank you, brother. I'm so glad you followed my man. Check Yankee. No, dude, Cody up at Shields, dude. Yeah. Hey, appreciate you following, brother. We got Zach on. We got Fargo on, Cody.
Fargo!
We got Fargo in the building here, eh? No, but yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for following, dude. And he was asking me the other day, he's like, when you doing another episode? I said tomorrow. This was yesterday. You know who that is? I've been putting in the description. I'll do it every Monday at 7, which I need to. It's hard for me to.
Cody wasn't even here today, so
No, he's flying out
He's
tomorrow.
flying out. Yeah. Where's he going?
Hey, appreciate you following,
Colorado.
brother. We got Zach on. We got Fargo on, Cody.
Yeah. Fargo!
We got Fargo in the building here, eh? No, but yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for following, dude. He was asking me the other day. Trying to get Zach on how many deer? Well, first of all, I'll ask you a few questions. But how many deer have you killed with a bow?
First of all, I'm going to put a lip pilly in.
An upper decker, you know.
Upper decker and the lip pilly.
Because most of yours have been with a gun, right?
Yep. They all have been with a gun.
Have you killed a doe with a bow?
Nope.
Man, I got to get you on it. Okay.
I've seen a lot of deer with my bow,
Yeah.
but I've just never, because
Oh, it just is what it is.
the bow is right before gun season
Okay.
in Minnesota, so it's like you kind of just wait it out, and then once that gun season hits, you let her rip.
So when is gun season?
Gun season is the first weekend in November
Okay.
for 2 weeks.
So they let you get a hold of the guns before the rut?
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about
no,
that.
not necessarily.
Well, the rut's going to
The
be
rut-
middle of June or middle of
November.
Yeah.
You kind of just
So-
wait it out, and then once
I mean,
that gun season hits.
Screw the gun guys, but they are screw the bow guys over.
Yeah, but in Minnesota, so once it gets past gun season, you can still shoot bow until the 31st of December, but it's too cold up there to draw your bow back. It
Past
just-
December.
Yeah, past gun season. Middle of November. Gets too cold. in
Not
the stand.
in that sick of fanatic. He's got that sick.
I do got it.
Sorry, he's got that rich.
I
He's
do
got
got
that
it.
rich man's camo.
So once it
Yeah.
gets past
Chad, it's been crazy watching you operate this whole thing. What is that in the right hand corner? What is that saying?
31st of December, but it's too
Thanks for
cold up
watching,
there
comment,
to
like, share.
draw your
I'm
bow
watching
back.
that like a little fire. I'm sorry to deviate.
I just got rid of it.
No, that's cool. I like it. I'm just like I couldn't tell what the hell it was this whole time. I'm like, what is that?
Well,
I do
it's
got
just
it.
a little cool little gift thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
I'll put it back.
I like it. Yeah. Throw it up there.
And
That's
he
something
also,
great.
Cody also says, "Hey, Fargo."
Dude, we got Fargo in the building, dude.
Yeah.
Zach's got a great character, man. He's gonna be good. You are gonna do just fine down here in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I like it. I think this is a good time to tell you about this at this point, because we've been kind of keeping a card from you because we still have not talked to the person yet. I'm not even gonna say names because I don't want people to know. There are people watching who might know who we're talking about, and I don't want anybody to know. I'm holding my cards close to my chest, brother.
Okay.
But I got somebody at work that I know has 198 acres, about 10 minutes north where we're at right now. Private land. And we're going to have a conversation when that person gets back from where they're at right now. Now, Isaac.
I don't even know if I know who
No,
you're
you
talking
don't.
about.
You don't. You don't. That's why I'm telling you. I'm telling you about this right now.
Okay.
I'm telling you about this right now. So
I need to get my saddle soon.
you need to get your saddle. Yeah. And I told Isaac about it.
Oh, I bet he's just juiced.
Oh, he's in. I said, don't you ever forget that I could have kept this in my back pocket and said, hey, dude, I'm forever thankful. I'm forever thankful. As long as you guys understand that, that's okay. We can all, we're not going to step on each other's toes. We'll have a game plan, but anywho.
Yeah.
Just know that's on the horizon. I'll tell you more about it when we get off the
yeah.
show. I just can't say names or locations. I try to do that out of respect of this because if this ever gets going, I just don't want. Like, don't go to the public land. Like, I don't even refer to the name of the public land.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say because we're going to the public land.
Yeah, we're
too.
going to the public land.
Within
I
the
just
next
call it
couple weeks.
the place north. That's all I keep
Yeah.
calling it. But yeah.
Yeah, we're keeping that secret as well.
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's 10,000 acres.
I'm sure people will figure it out.
I'm
but
sure people already have figured out if they're
Yeah.
smart enough, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to go where we're going.
Nope.
But yeah, no. What I was going to ask you was, so break down your hunting experience up to this point. Tell me what all you've hunted, because I know you also did waterfowl. Just tell me everything. Tell me what all you've hunted, who you've hunted with the majority of the time, and what your preference is hunting.
I'm sure people will figure it out. Okay. Well, first of all, I started going with my dad when I was about 4 years old. He got me my very first orange hunting vest and hat. And I started going with him out there, and at that time they didn't really sit in trees. They just drove around in the morning, see what they saw, because we had a lot of land up in Minnesota to walk, like walk some stuff, some shrubs and all that stuff. So we would do that for the most part. And then as I got older, I was like, why don't we ever sit? Because I started watching videos. And then we started sitting a lot more when I probably turned 10, 11, and then when I was 12, I got my first 410 shotgun. So then I started shooting that, and we got that thing dialed in, and then that first year hunting with a gun for me, I shot a little spiker.
Shot an Alabama 11-pointer.
Yep, yes sir. When I was 12, I think it was. I think that's like the legal age for Minnesota when you can start carrying a firearm. And then
you were shooting him dead like freaking Andy Griffith's son out there.
Yeah, my first that first deer was so dark. Wasn't so dark where it was past
shooting
light, but it was at that point where it's kind of hard to see what it is.
Yeah.
So I lasered one out there in the black swamp up there, and my dad went there the next day, and I was in school. I was in middle school at that time.
He tracked it for you?
Yeah, he tracked it
for
me.
Oh, your dad's a real G.
And then he came out to the school, and he picked me up. He picked me up to go track the deer, but he already did it.
Oh yeah, he found it.
Yeah, and we went out there, and
your dad's a real one.
Yeah, we saw it laying there, and it was an Alabama 11-pointer.
Well, okay. So all right, you killed your. All right, so at that point you kill your first deer, you're hooked.
Yep, I'm hooked. I was hooked since 4. Like I just loved it. I loved going every single morning. I would hunt all day, every day for that whole weekend. And then he would go back to work, and I would go back to school and whatnot. And then we just kept hunting after that for about, I would say about 4 or 5 years. And then he got me my first bow. And it was a Matthews. I was probably about 15.
15? You got your first bow?
15, 16.
Nice.
And I got the Matthews Creed solo cam or whatever it's called, and I had that for a long time until 2020, and then I got my VXR. But then yeah, I've shot a few deer. My last few were a couple 8-pointers, but then
you got a good deer.
Yeah, I showed you a few pictures.
You killed a really good deer.
I would say probably when I got into high school, my freshman year, we really picked up, me and my buddy, we really picked up turkey hunting and then waterfowl hunting. And that's what I did a lot of the time. I kind of quit deer hunting for a few years. I would go here and there, but for the most part, we would just go goose hunting up north.
Fields.
Yeah, and we had every field on lockdown.
That's what I want you to do is take me to Fargo and go Seriously, I want to go
let's do it.
quacker hunting up in Fargo. Dude, they're terrible here. I mean, they're good enough to get your. I mean, you can hunt and kill birds. My buddy Cheese, who I had on the last podcast, he's what got me into hunting to begin with, and we'd hunt waterfowl and stuff like that. Dude, it is not like you guys talk about.
Yeah,
it's like what you hear a couple people talk about that have a couple dozen spread, and that's like.
No, yeah. So me and my buddy alone had a 32 dozen full body goose decoys.
32 dozen
that we would set out every single morning, and then yeah, I think our largest one was a 95 bird day, and that was a 15-man limit. We had a bunch of buddies out there, and we got a 15-man limit of Canadian honkers. No, yeah. So me and my buddy had yeah, they load up.
So
does
your dad still hunt?
Yeah.
Do you have private land up in North Dakota?
Kinda. So yeah, we did have private land, and we would walk a bunch of stuff, and then we had some other land to sit in trees. But other than that, like a few years ago, they turned it into walk-in access. We don't know why. We still
So the
haven't figured
place
it
you
out.
went was private, but now is not?
Is walk-in access.
Is this the place you killed all your deer at?
Yeah. Yep.
Walk-in access. What the hell does that mean?
So you have to buy a separate tag. So it's walk-in. So you have to buy your buck tag, and then you have to buy a separate tag.
Okay,
on
so
top of that.
is your land, or is it?
It was until now, but anybody can go on it technically now. It's kind of like public land.
Did they buy it off of your dad?
No. It was my dad. So my dad, the land that we hunted all my life was my dad's best friend from like high school.
Oh,
Like they
okay.
grew up hunting it when he was young, and I wasn't even in the question yet. And then they turned it into walk-in access. Typically, they call it like public, but it's walk-in access. You have to buy a separate thing for it. And now my dad's buddy's son is in the process of buying it back, and it's actually his grandpa that he's buying it from, but he's pretty strict with his land.
How big of land is it?
Man, I think it's like 500-600 acres.
Oh, it's a good chunk.
But he farms a lot of it.
With what, beans or corn?
Corn.
Golly. Is it flat?
Yeah. Everything in North Dakota is flat.
So is there any hardwood on it, or is it mainly field?
There's hardwood. There's like tree lines and all that stuff that we hunt in stands.
Mm.
So
yeah.
you have a question here.
Huh?
Cody says, "Hey Fargo, what is your most memorable hunting experience you've had so far?"
My most memorable,
Hit him with it, Fargo.
it would probably be last year. So I was trying to go to it's Nature Conserve, this kind of public land, but you have to send it into like all your data into somebody else, and they have to give you a special permit. And I knew of a stand that was it was probably like 300 yards off the road that I parked at, and so I started walking there, and next thing you know, I was in some deep water, and all I had was muck boots on. And so I was like, well, this ain't gonna work. So I started walking back. By that time, it's getting prime time. Like, you want to be in your stand at this time. And so I was like, well, I don't know what to do. So I found a laid down tree, and I kind of just sat up on there, and I was like, I ain't gonna see shit. Like, this sucks.
That's
Should I
the best hunt.
Should I just go back to my car right now, or what? And I was texting my dad, and I was just like, dude, this sucks. Should I just leave? And he goes, no, sit there, dude. And so I was like, all right, whatever. And then sat there, didn't see a damn thing, didn't hear anything. And then next thing you know, about 30 minutes before sunset, all I hear is walking through behind me, this little buck grunt. And I was like, all right. So I dug in my backpack, grabbed my buck grunt, hit one, and all I hear is like him rustling around. Hit it again. Next thing you know, he comes charging out to right where I was, and he was probably meat a drake away, staring at me.
How big of a deer was this?
The one that I just showed you, my 8-pointer.
Okay.
That I got this last year.
Yep.
And he was just staring at me, and when a deer is looking at you that close, you're like, this thing's fucking huge.
Oh yeah.
And so so I was sitting there and he kind of just looks at me, looks down, and kind of just keeps on sniffing, looking for something. And then he probably got about 10 yards. And I was using my buddy's gun. He was like, try this gun out, because it was a slug gun, but it has a scope. And I was like, all right, fine. And it was probably the worst conditions for that because he was so close.
Oh yeah. Well,
And I pulled up and I found his neck, and all I could see was his neck. His body was behind a shrub, like buckbrush. And I go down to the right a little bit, boom, and he just folded and then tried to crawl away. That was probably my most memorable, just because it was crazy to see. I was just shaking like a leaf,
I bet
you know.
Freaking ball sack.
Oh yeah.
Clenched,
My dad texted me right away. He goes, "Was that you?" And I go, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Is it dead?" And I go, "Uh-huh."
Oh my gosh.
It was just so cool how it happened.
Dude,
So fast like that.
dude, that's intense.
It was awesome.
I bet you were shaking like a tree leaf, dude. I bet
Well, when you're staring at a deer from here to here, it gets a little crazy. It's a little different than sitting at sitting in a tree stand and staring down at it.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously to answer my question. Yes, you've killed something on ground level. That's your story. But I used to hunt out of a ground blind.
Yep.
And
shot my first turkey out of a ground blind.
Killing deer out of a ground blind is so much of an adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah.
Your eye level, but I mean, heck, yours sounds way more intense than out of a blind. But Cody, good question, man. We're gonna have to have you. I'm gonna have to have Cody on. He went to South Africa for. He was like freaking Philip.
Yeah.
Have you seen his book?
I haven't looked through that.
Dude,
no.
He's killed all sorts of shit.
Just like Philip.
Just like Philip.
Dude, I don't know what they got.
I even showed him pictures of Philip. I know you did, Cody. I appreciate you. I know you know who I'm talking about. I showed you pictures of a guy from Texas.
They would get along great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Philip's a great man.
Yeah. I'm gonna have Cody on here. I don't know why I've never thought about that. I'm gonna bring Cody on. Next is Isaac, and after that, I'm bringing Cody.
Then we gotta have an episode with all of us.
Oh yeah, we'll get all
the
boys on here. Yeah.
Maybe do that one on like a Friday night or something.
Oh yeah. We'll have to bring
get a little sauce and then go downtown.
Yeah. Bring a lot of beer on for that episode. I can tell you that. Isaac will be over here just fucking pounding them.
He loves them Diet Coors.
Everybody loves Diet Coors. Diet Coors, I'm ready for my sponsorship.
Tuesday.
Check Tuesday, brother. No. Chad, you got something away? You're typing away and laughing over there.
No. Corey just said, is the guy with the mustache mentally handicapped?
Tell Corey this is a great time for him to watch Oklahoma City Thunder highlights.
And then, let's see here. Cody Shank says, I would be honored to be on the podcast.
Of course, brother. You have a standing invite. I'm bringing Isaac and then you on, Cody. I got you, brother. You're a killer. I know you are. He's probably, honestly, you guys would get along great with this guy we're talking about. He runs our handguns department.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's handguns, isn't he? I'm not.
Cody,
are you handguns?
Yeah. Cody is.
Cody, reply in comments. Are you handguns?
Yep. He started
I'm pretty certain he's in handguns.
last Monday. No. He started a
Scott's and shotguns. Anyways.
He hasn't responded to that because there's about a 20-second delay, so it'll take him a second. Yeah. But he did just say, awesome experience, Fargo. You definitely checked Yankee on that one.
Yankee. No, dude, this is good. I'm glad I brought you on here, man. I've been waiting to bring you on, talk deer, and
I'm glad we got to do it before you head out to Fargo.
So be up there. I said up there this time. You hear that?
Tell them to make fun of you as much as you make fun of me.
Tell them to get ready for a country ass whooping.
He says handguns and suppressors.
That's what I thought. Yeah, dude, you'll get along great with this guy. He's a freaking gun nerd.
You know what? I think I'm gonna hate him.
Well, you're a gun nerd.
I do love guns.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. But okay, all right. So, all right, that's pretty much okay. Would you say that summarizes your experience, like deer hunting, like you? So obviously, go back to your deer hunting experience. You basically grew up having your dad kind of show you the rope. Right?
Yep. He taught me everything I know.
What a blessing.
Yep.
What a blessing. My dad did not hunt.
Yep.
I did not grow up in a house full of hunters.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, so I've, in a lot of ways, have taught me myself everything I know through videos and personal experience, personal failures. That's what I like to tell people, because the success of it all is far less than failure. So, but yeah. So all right. So you grew up. Your dad kind of gave you the ropes on how to kill damn deer because your dad's killed good deer.
Very good deer.
All right. So and you big waterfowl. I would say you're a bigger water. You're not a bigger waterfowl.
Not anymore.
But you were a big waterfowl.
I was.
Yeah.
I put down the bow and stuff for a few years, and I kind of leaned towards waterfowl, and then kind of just lost the itch because there was a lot of drama going around in North Moorhead, we call it, because of a lot of NDSU people, like the college in Fargo. They would come over and try to take our fields, and they would use our names for the farmers, and that would just cause drama because we didn't know them, but they knew us, you know?
Mm.
And so they were using our names, and the farmers are like, okay, cool. Yeah.
I
go
bet
out
it
there.
was Carson Wentz.
Probably.
I bet it was Trey Lance and Carson Wentz.
Yeah, they haven't done shit.
You probably shouldn't have. Hey, sorry, Carson. That's all I got for you. Oh no, we're gonna have a fantasy. That reminds me, we're gonna have fantasy football this year.
Oh, let's do it. I've
Yeah,
never done it.
me and Brando are running commissioner.
I've never done it, so I want to do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
But yeah,
All right,
anyway,
so
so I put down the bow, did waterfowl, and then just kind of lost the itch. And then the last few years, I really got back into it and started shooting my bow a lot more again.
we're gonna get you to kill one with your bow. Promise you.
I definitely want to shoot an Okie buck, that's for sure.
All right, so with that being said, it's a great segue. I think I can feel a tick crawling on me. Sure can. Sorry about that, people. When you feel a tick, you got to get it off. Got to get them off.
That's crazy.
They're terrible bugs. But
That's what this scar is from.
the tick.
A tick bite, and it laid eggs in my arm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Do not tell me that. I might not sleep tonight.
dude. I woke up and it was baby blue. I'll show you the picture after this.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
baby blue, and my mom thought it was
Please don't.
melanoma cancer. So I
Stop.
went in and they dug it out, and I was like, "Fuck."
Oh my gosh. Knows with his
Yeah,
the
I'm just lucky he didn't have Lyme's disease. or
yes,
anything.
you are lucky. All right, so what's your biggest goals while you're here hunting in Oklahoma? What would be a high achievement for you while you're here?
Learn a lot more knowledge on
Bow hunting?
the craft of bow hunting.
Yeah, I can tell you want to get into it more.
Yeah, I just love the fact of
So just learn
really
more?
chasing them instead of more like field management instead of just going out and sitting and then
Yeah.
well,
it's
oh,
way
that
more-
one's too small. I'm
It's
gonna
way
wait.
more
Rewarding too.
it's way more rewarding, it's way more cat and mouse.
Yeah, I just love the fact of you set out a couple trail cameras and you start chasing them, and you set up stands and where you think they're going to be that night, or
Mock scrapes.
yes, mock scrapes. I've never done scrapes and stuff, so I'm really excited about that.
Well, I got Chad to Chad will laugh about this because he's like, well, I knew they would be there, but you never really understood the concept of the mock scrape before I laid. I would tell him about it, and I would explain. I explained it thoroughly, but the best way to understand something is just to see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And quite literally, I laid out the mock scrape, and I'm like, all right, Chad, here's what a picture of a deer on a mock scrape looks like. He's like, wait, is that the stand we just hung it at? I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like,
yeah.
I'm like, can you believe that? He goes, no, I mean, they have nowhere else to go, but it's crazy. They're all right where you just were.
Yeah,
And
they eat that up.
They're like biting the end of my
Yep.
stick, like
and they're
sniffing it.
stretching, and if you have a stand right there, once they're
Well,
stretched.
Did you hear me when we were shooting the other day at your house when I was talking to Zach and Isaac about mock scrapes, at how they're good ambush points? Because when I killed my buck, he was mock scraping and he was spread all the way out. Did you hear me talk?
So his shoulder's not in the way.
Shoulder's not in the way. Like it's like laying your kill out, quite literally. I mean, it is insane if you do it the right way. That doesn't guarantee shit, though, to be honest with you. It just gives you an opportunity to funnel deer movement. Which, speaking of deer movement, on your property, we do know that everybody baits on all sides. I am going to pour a bag of corn out at some point this summer just to do an inventory check right over a deer camera out at his place.
With no stand.
But yeah, we know what we're going to hunt it at. It's going to be near either by this creek bank we call the oil rig or the back fence line. I'm going to pour it out right in that high traffic area just to see what's in the area.
Yeah, you showed me a few pictures of your guys' deer on your property.
The problem with baiting, I have followed this one hunter podcast. It's called Hunter Podcast, where they're from Ohio, and they talk about how ethically they disagree with baiting as well quite a bit, but they feel pressured to do it. Now I literally feel that pressure. Like we're in Illinois, if your fucking salt off your Wendy's fries came off in the woods, it'd be like you can't hunt over that. Like they're that serious about it.
Can you do it in Oklahoma?
Yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. And every property adjacent to theirs does it. So I know, like, I'm like paranoid now that I'm missing out on holding deer. Like holding deer on the property, holding them there to go to our corn pile before their corn pile. And the only time I'm worried about this is for the first 3 weeks of October, and then from December 1st on. I'm not worried about it from around Halloween to Thanksgiving, because that's the rut.
They're dumber and shit.
They're dumber, and they're not worried about eating. I mean, you can still kill them over bait, but they're not like food driven like they are early season and later season.
See, there's something to be said though about that, because you can. There's a way to bait to keep them on your property, but as soon as you start baiting to like hunt over it, I don't know. That's just in my book, that's cheating. We can't do that in Minnesota.
I mean, you can't do it in Illinois either.
So I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
perfect,
agree with it.
I don't agree with it either.
No.
I don't agree with it either. Okay, now I'm going to stop you. All right, let's say you got 6 stands on a. Okay, I'm just going to give you our example. Our example, what we're going through on a piece of property right now. His property. You got 6 stands, right? Okay, let's say you got 6 cameras running. You got deer on camera. Let's say you did decide to make one of them a bait site. One of them, just one of them. And that's going to be your bait site. You throw a salt lick out there, and you make sure there's corn out there.
That deer's going to know you're there.
I said that over and over. You educate the deer more than you could ever imagine.
Yep.
But other than that, just hear me out on my example. This is where I've gotten to. I backed myself into a corner mentally. I've had this much mental dialogue about it. Okay, so we make one. Okay, you got 6 sites you can hunt at. They're all pretty good. We've all done a pretty good job at them. We can kill deer at all 6 of these sites without bait. Not worried about it. But let's just say you sacrifice one of them for bait. Okay? You use it for bait, and the whole time you're baiting. You're still hunting the other stands. You can still hunt over the bait. It doesn't matter. I'm just using this for an example. But then you got, quite literally, you patterned a 160 deer. 160 plus deer on the bait. Are you not going to not kill that buck? I've never been backed in a corner the way I have right now as a hunter. Like if you knew for a fact over the bait site, you're going to see the 160, 170-inch deer tonight.
Yeah.
You're killing that deer, aren't you?
100%.
That's where I'm like, holy shit, I think I need to bait.
If you're patterning it to bait, yes.
Yeah.
You will be shooting that buck.
Yeah. But I think that most people go wrong.
But that just goes, I don't know, that goes against the craft
of hunting.
Yeah, of hunting.
It does.
I think.
I do too.
In my world, I don't know.
Too. No,
but
it does.
People around here, they're used to that. So it's normal for them.
When I talk like this, I know I step on toes.
Oh, yeah.
I know I step on toes. I know I probably piss somebody off, and that's all right.
You'll piss anybody off, whatever you say.
It is what, like Isaac hunts over bait. And Kansas,
he probably grew up doing it.
He grew up doing it. Yeah, I'm just telling you. Like, you can just... I mean, I am so indifferent about it right now. It's unreal. I cannot...
So you're kind of between the fence right now.
I am fucking... No, I feel like you're forcing me to do it. Like, I have all this private property, and... matter of fact, one of my fraternity brothers I was telling you about that has about 1,600 acres down in southwestern Oklahoma. I was in his wedding. We're best friends. We talk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't bait. And I told him, I said, good, keep it that way. And he's like, yeah, I'm against baiting. I said, well, me too. And I said, well, the thing that you got going for you is that when you have enough land like that, then you can keep natural movement natural. But
yes.
Like when you're on 200, 400, 300, maybe even 500, 200 acres, like how are you holding them on that 200 acres? Like, Like, how are you doing that? You know,
and how are you chasing them, too?
Yeah, because, I mean, to be honest with you, if you aren't doing it and every other property around you is doing it and all you have is 200 acres, like he's got in the middle of nowhere or in the middle of the city, and you got every property around it baiting, you're really actually probably housing the deer, and then they're going. Does that make sense? Like, I'm like, you are literally being their hotel, and then they're leaving.
Yep.
That's what I think when you do that in these bait states. I'm like, well, how else would you hold them? The only way I can think of is I finally showed him. I planted a because my father-in-law's a farmer, bean farmer. I planted a purple turnip plot mixed with white clover last year. I think if you actually ran a food plot year in and year out, if at this place we could potentially have permission from. We ran a food plot for the next X years, 5 years. We run a half-acre food plot. That's a local. That what I call is a destination food source.
That's how you keep them.
That's how you hold deer.
Instead of a hotel, that's a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. That's what I'm
agree.
saying. So it's like that's where those places like Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota is one of them. They get their laws and the conservation correct because they don't allow for shortcutting.
Well, look at Iowa, for example. Like, look how big of the deer people are shooting.
Giants.
They have something right. Something's going for them.
Giants can't bait. Non-residents can't buy tags.
Exactly.
Everything's done right.
So they're doing something right. Why aren't these other states taking notes?
I don't know why. I can't figure out why you can just do what you can do here. Matter of fact, I'll tell you how bad it is on one of the adjacent properties on this private property I'm hunting on. A guy has a feeder out of a metal tin trash can hung upside down that he hunts out of his tree house. It's bad.
Probably right under his treehouse too.
50 yards from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're
Jonathan Neese, which is cheese, says split tail. Tell Drake you keep him with a split tail.
Split tail.
I'm sorry. Yeah, split tail.
Keep him with a split tail.
I don't even know what that means.
I think he's talking about the rut and the coochie. I think. I don't know. Cheese, is that what you're talking? Are you talking about the rut? Cheese, what's a split tail? Hold on. Well, I want to see what he says here. Did he just say that?
He said a minute or so.
A minute or so,
Just
okay.
saw
All right, this will get to him here in the next 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what that is.
That sounds like it. Maybe
you might be on the right track.
I think that's what it's going.
Yeah,
Oh, he just comment.
Hunting.
Jeez, if
Yep.
this is.
Yep. LOL. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So you're right on the money with it.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
it's like, yeah, the rut. I mean, yeah. I understand.
But
I
even-
know how to hunt the rut good. I'm
even-
really good at hunting the rut. That's
Even
why
then, you can't keep them with the rut,
you
though,
can't
because
keep 'em
they,
with the rut,
they
but
can
you
run
just go
5, 10, 15 miles in a day.
He's trying to say poontang.
I knew you meant cheese when you meant split tail, you freaking rat bastard.
Not
I
punting.
assume he wrote that on his cell phone and it auto-corrected to...
Stupid.
No. I knew what you meant, cheese.
That's hilarious.
I knew what you meant. Yeah, no, the rut's the fun time, man.
Yeah.
But I will
It's
say,
great.
I killed a deer I patterned on opening day last year. Had him on camera at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I knew I was going to see him that evening.
Opening day for bow.
Opening day for bow, October 1st.
Have you shot all your deer with bow?
All of them.
I'd
I'm a
love to
bow
put one
hunter,
down with a
dude.
bow. Yeah.
Actually, I've lied to you. Sorry, I killed my first buck this year with a rifle. 450 Bushmaster. Smoked him. Yeah, it was good. I didn't find him until 2 days after. It kind of sucked. I was really pissed off. I had to call out of work, hired a bloodhound. Same bloodhound that tracked deer for Hank Williams Jr. Isn't that pretty crazy?
That's awesome.
Dog's name was Hank. He got named after him. Seriously.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He was and he found his deer. Yep. And it was
He didn't find your deer.
He didn't. Only reason why is because it was pissing rain.
Yep, you told me that.
And
So he lost. Okay.
no, he put me on where to find it. He said, "Okay, you have a cow pond on this side, and you have a cow pond on this other side." When I did these two things, I mean, you should realize how far away I'm talking about. Like, fucking, if this is the northwest of the 1,600 acres, that's the southeast of it.
Jesus Christ.
So, went to both of them the next day after we did it. Found them. Found him bellied up right next to the one that was closest
What, you
to
gut
us.
shot him?
Yeah, I had to have hit him back. I don't
I mean,
know.
that's a lot of acreage to be.
I don't know. It was close. Where I found him was a pond that was closest to the tree I killed him out of. But I don't
How far
know.
away is that?
Hmm?
How far away is that pond?
300 yards as a crow flies.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's
No.
not too bad.
But
Not-
the other
not as bad
pond
as I-
was 600 yards. So that one was like a long shot. He was like, just check that one just in case. I didn't even have to make my way there. And at that point, I couldn't tell where I hit him because it had been 48 hours. And the coyotes, I mean, this thing was bad looking.
Oh, was that picture that you just showed me with a dog with you?
No. The one where I'm holding the buck up.
Yeah, with the dog next to you?
No, that was opening day.
Oh, that was this last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Both of these were last year. I hire a dog when I can't find it. When I can't find it within 30, 40 yards, I've killed this many deer with a bow. Matter of fact, we did the math on it. What was it, like 20 something?
Yep, that's right.
20 plus something. Okay. I have shot I've shot deer to where I've gone up to them and I've literally like touched their bed and I've seen where they've been bleeding all over. I'm like, this deer's literally still alive.
Yeah.
I just jumped this deer. And then I've shot deer where I've seen them go down 10 feet after I've shot them, or like 20 feet after I shot them. So the difference in the two is drastic in the approach, because if I don't see the deer with my eyes go down, like this is how bad it is for me, because I've been on enough rodeos. And the blood trail always goes awry at some point. So if you don't ever see the deer go down, the best thing for you to do is go on to bloodtrackersunited.com and find somebody in your local area that has a dog and just call them and tell them everything that happened. He'll tell you what you should do. He may not even come out there with your dog, but they're running a business and they're going to want you to hire the dog. And to me, it's always worth it, because if you've ever seen a dog fucking work on a dead deer, it's like watching a machine cut loose, dude.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
And people don't realize this, but I think I've told you this. I think a lot of people think that you chase the bloodhound sniffing the blood. Did you know this, what I'm getting ready to tell you? There's a gland in the bottom of, so when you hit a deer or wound a deer fatally and they're running away, they perspire glands out of all four of their paws. So when a dog does
I did not know that.
Yeah, when a dog does its tracking, it's not like sniffing for blood.
Sniffing the gland.
The gland. And that gland is
wow.
wrong as fuck, which is why a dog, like, whenever he finds that gland and hits the trail, he is like, zing. Like, you can't, like, I've watched dog trackers drop thing in the leash. Drop the leash. They're like, let go. I've heard guys say that. He's like, because usually they come out in twos. So one of the partners was like, let him go. Fucking gone, dude. Gone. And then all of a sudden he's barking at the top of the hill. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm pretty certain you found your deer. And we finally make our way up there and trek up there, and he's standing on the dead deer. It's like,
crazy,
I would have
dude.
never found that deer that quick. And this took like 2.5 minutes. Dude, there's no blood on the site where I hit him at, right? And I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I'm paying $300 every time I shoot a wall mounter. If I'm shooting a wall mounter with my bow, I'm hiring a dog. Unless it's the deer goes down and I see blood like a water hose.
Yeah.
Two things.
Yep.
One, Cheese, there was a criminal on our property that was supposedly armed. That's why there was a cop on our property. And two, he says, tell the story about Caleb.
Oh, my God. Cheese, you would go there with all right, yeah, you know what?
Mind if I go take a pee?
Yeah, go ahead, take a piss. Yeah. Yeah, all right. I'll tell the story about Caleb, Cheese. Fine. So, had a buddy of mine, call him buddy, former buddy, that I had come on the property. I think I've told you the story a couple times. But, anywho, I had to politely dismiss him off the property. And unfortunately, our friendship took toll as well, because, to be honest with you, when I asked him to do what he needed to do, not only did he just leave, but he did nothing to make it right as a friend in that regard. But had to ask a buddy to step off the property because he was hunting during gun season without orange on, and he was shooting guns on our property with a scope on his muzzleloader that wasn't sighted. And at the time, I wish I had a trail. Honestly, before I tell this story, I wish I had the trail camera pic of the deer he shot at. It was a 180-inch deer with split G2s. It was the biggest deer on the farm I've ever had. We called him Night Owl because he only came out at night. He's an absolute giant, dude. Like, quite literally, when you were measuring the rack of a deer, remember I told you about the inches? It was a world-class deer. And he shot at it at 15 yards with a scope unsighted, not wearing orange. And
a scope unsighted. What was he thinking?
after it, he tried to claim that he did have it sighted, but I'm like, dude, you just told us all you didn't have your gun sighted 10 minutes ago. And I've asked him to put on the orange twice before he ever went in the woods, and he didn't. And I asked him to put it on when he came out of the woods, and he didn't. He's just blatantly disrespectful of my family's land. And of course, at this point, I asked him to step off the land. He goes up to my father-in-law and is apologizing. And I haven't even had a chance to explain to my father-in-law what's going on. He's like, I don't know what's going on. Well, I mean, of course you don't, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you. And, but no, the moral of the story and the lesson is just understand who you're bringing on your land, their intentions, and how you think they'll be able to act and behave, because you don't ever know the integrity of a person's character. And whenever you let somebody on your land, you can't control what they do. As much as you'd like to think that you can, you can't. I mean, if a guy wants to go out there and do something illegal, guess what he's going to do? Something illegal. I mean, he's going to do it. And then you're going to bear the consequence. And it's not your land. You know what I mean? That's why they kind of do what they do, because it's not your land. It's not their land. It's not, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I wouldn't be the first person who's lost a friend over deer hunting. I'm damn sure not going to be the last. But the reality of it is, man, just do what you say you're going to do and be honest and have integrity about what you're going to do when you do it. And that all bleeds over to how you hunt, man. I mean, the same guy who's willing to do that is the same guy who's willing to bait illegal, is the same guy who's willing to probably kill something at night, is the same guy who's willing to shoot out the side of his truck. I'm not saying that he's done all that. It's just, it's funny how one thing always leads to another,
Yeah, it's clearly you probably would have gone on somebody else's private property to go do something.
That didn't even bring me to my next point. So he shoots the deer, right? We find blood. Obviously, it doesn't go down. The caliber of this gun's a 50 cal because it's a muzzleloader.
Yeah.
I mean, quite literally, the fact it didn't go down right away, Cheese and I both knew, bad shot. So, anyways, he hires a dog. His best friend's is a dog tracker. Yep. Mm-hmm. So he comes out the next day, and my in-laws actually get permission on the surrounding properties for us to go track. Well, we tracked throughout the surrounding properties, and it led us up all the way to a whole nother piece of private. And he was very eager just to go walking in the middle of that guy's field without even asking. I was like, hey, come over here. Come here. And he's like, what? I'm like, I told you when you cross this tree line, we got to get further permission. You remember I've told you that already. Like, I've already had that conversation. He goes, oh, yeah. And I'm like, when it clicked to me, like when he said, oh, yeah, to me, I looked back at Cheese, and I'm like, I have to be done with him. I have to be done with him. He's clearly does not respect property lines, boundaries, hunting ethics, all those things. But you just can't control what a person does.
Yeah.
You really can't. It's unfortunate. That's why having the privilege to hunt on my family's land like that, and having the opportunity to hunt with all my friends, I'll never do whatever I can to ruin that privilege. And whenever you have it taken from you, I'm sure he's had some thinking that has been done since then. So,
well, if he hasn't, then clearly got some issues going.
Right. Well, he's since reached out to me trying to tell me he doesn't understand what he's done to ruin a relationship. And I told my wife, I said, this doesn't really seem like an apology or amends to make things work. I'm not going to reply. And so I didn't, but I thought when I read over the text 20 times, I'm like, yeah, this isn't an attempt to make things right. It's more so, how can I understand what I've done so I can understand it? Mm-hmm. Like, all right, that's for your own doing, I placed the ball in his court, and he had the opportunity to make it right, and he didn't. His was just to show you how serious deer hunting can get, man. It can get in the way of your friends if you don't do the right things. You need to lay out guidelines like, hey, if you do this, that'll upset me. I mean, be very clear. I mean, and even when you do that, that's not to promise you that your friends who you think are your friends won't still do things that breach those guidelines. You just never know, man. It's a tough sport to get into. It definitely makes people territorial. Yeah. It definitely does. But yeah.
Well, not that it's too relevant, but one thing that I've heard is like you're supposed to, like, if you want to see a man's character, you take him golfing or do some type of sporting event with him. And if he does something that makes you question his integrity, don't do business with him.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, don't take me golfing because I'll fucking just push the ball in the hole if you're not looking. I'll take little blades of grass and throw them over your ball. No, it wasn't me, dude. No, I'm just playing. Oh, man. Anything else you want to talk about, Zach, before we jump off here, bro?
I don't think so.
All right. We can tell them about how we're going to archery.
Oh yeah.
We're going here in about the first
Beginning
week of June. Yeah.
Yep.
First week of June, we're going to be getting brand new bows.
Yeah. Pretty
brand new bows for the year. Very privileged.
Yeah.
And we will be there with all the vendors and all the, from Matthews, Hoyt to Bowtech to all those guys. We'll have an opportunity to go spend a week with them and get a bow at a great deal, we'll just say.
Not only bows, but we'll get trail cameras.
Yeah.
All that other stuff.
Yeah, we'll be able to use that during the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be able to use that during the fall. That's something to look forward to. We'll tell you, we'll have all sorts of videos from that, I'm sure.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'll be putting them online. Yeah.
We'll have to make like a montage of.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude,
Yeah,
I'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Those of you who subscribed already, I appreciate it. If you haven't, go ahead and hit that button. We're coming at you once a week with an episode. We'll be posting shorts here and there. But Zach, thanks for coming on. This won't be the last time you see Zach. We'll either have him on hunting or he'll be back on here several times with us, I'm sure. So next week we'll bring on my buddy Isaac, and he'll tell you all about Kansas hunting, man. Sounds like it's very similar to Oklahoma, but y'all crack a cold beer. Enjoy the episode. Cheers, boys.